boys and girls and squirrels from another world. I hope that everybody's doing wonderful this evening. Ah, what a day. What a day. So, if you didn't get a chance, go check out um my stream that I did with with Shelly from talking trash and truths because she is awesome. Absolutely awesome. It was a blast. It was an absolute blast. We went for many hours, and she continued to go for many hours afterwards with the rest of the gang there. You had Darth Hideous and all of the fun ones there. Hey, Rabbit, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm just stretching my legs this morning. Well, this evening. See, I've just been working too damn long, too many hours. It was good seeing all of you. Very good seeing you. And are we surprised he's not guilty? No, no, not at all. Of course. There you go. There you go. Well, I was on Cool Frog's stream earlier this morning, which is rare for me. Had a good night's sleep and got on there, and there was some really interesting folks there. Really interesting folks. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Had a good time chatting with a few people. I think Darth was a little out of it, but it seems to be all right. It seems to be all right. Told me after I left 5 hours, she and them was going 4 hours. Yeah, yeah, it went and went and went, and it was fun. It Don't get me wrong, it was fun. I had gotten up at 5 o'clock that morning, and I thought about bailing out because I was just really tired, and I couldn't do that. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna bail out on this. This is gonna be fun. It'll be a good time, and it'll last, an hour, maybe two. Yeah, I didn't go to sleep. So it went from, what was that, Tuesday? So Tuesday I was up at 5. I worked until 5 that night, and then was on chat for a bit here and there. And Frog and everybody else, they were getting 3 hours of sleep here and there, which was really good. Shelly and Frog, it's never just an hour. No, that was fun. I was actually expecting it to go a little long. I was not surprised. Because you never know how a conversation's going to go. Conversation could go sideways, and people's fifis get hurt. You know, either mine or somebody else's. And I was like, I don't want that to happen. And it didn't. It was really chill. It was really, really cool. Shelly, she's awesome. She is awesome. I had such a blast. So anyhow, so then I didn't stream the verdict because I was so damn just out of it. Like, so out of it. Couldn't believe that I had let myself get to that point. It happens. It happens. It happens. But I wouldn't give that up at all, because it was just so much fun. Just so much fun. Good long conversations, and she was very gracious as a host. We were running a little bit late because she was having some issues with her sound. It was popping in and out. She got it straightened out, I think, towards the end, or it seemed like it was straightened out, or I just was so tired that I didn't notice it. But then you got Cool Frog that came on, and it just took off from there. So much fun. So much fun. And big shout out to both of them. They were they were a blast. They were both a blast. So I did get some sleep the other night, and I was gonna try streaming this morning, and like I said, saw that Cool Frog was on this morning. He's doing a stream tonight with conspiracy music and somebody else I can't remember off the top of my head. And I jumped in there for a little bit to watch, see what it was all about. Doing the road show, it was good. It was good. And like someone had put in there, it was like some of the music is good, some of it's bad, you know. But all in all, it's fun, and it gets some of these guys exposures, and you never know what somebody's going to find appealing, what turns them on. As far as music goes, it could be any number of things, any number of things. So, what I did was, let's see if I got this here. There we go. Yeah, okay. It's beautiful. I'm doing some back end stuff. I got distracted watching, and that's what happens whenever you do that. Let's see, close that there. That's muted. Yeah, nice, very nice. So, jury thought he was guilty because the prosecution did not win it as the case and defense lost. Jury must have thought he was guilty because the prosecution did not win it. Was the case the defense lost? Was the case the defense lost? Well, why don't we just pull it up? We'll watch that again. You can almost see that he didn't expect to get out. I really don't think he did. So I pulled it up. It is very, very short, of course. As always. Let's do it in the 1.75 speed. That is the only way to do it. So we'll watch this, and you can just watch the look on his face of he knew he wasn't getting out. I think it was his last ditch effort in all of this.
We're back on the record on Mark D. Jensen, 2002 CF 314. Let's have the appearances one more time.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. The State of Wisconsin appears by Special Prosecutor Robert Jamboys, Deputy District Attorney Carly McNeil, and Public Service Special Prosecutor Beverly Jamboys.
Attorneys Bridget Krause, Jeremy Perry, and Mackenzie Renner appear on behalf of Mr. Mark Jensen, who appears in person. Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon. The jury is in the courtroom, all 12 jurors who deliberated, and the 4 alternate jurors who did not deliberate. The jurors that did deliberate have informed the bailiff that they have a verdict. I'll ask the foreperson who has the verdict. Is that corr't? All right. I got a screen in front of me, so maybe I should stand. Do you have a verdict, sir? Give it to the bailiff.
There we go. I hope you're doing well, Rabbit. It's good to see you.
State of Wisconsin versus Mark D. Jensen, 2002 CF 314 verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant, Mark D. Jensen, guilty of intentional homicide of the first degree as charged in the information. Dated this first day of February 2023, signed by the foreperson. Does the defense wish to have the jury polled?
Yes.
All right. They have numbers, so it'll be easier for me to poll the jury. Folks, I'm just going to ask you. I'll start out with number 1. Juror number 1, is this your verdict?
You can tell.
Juror number 2, is this your verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror number 3, is this your verdict?
That was.
Juror number 4, is this your verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror number 5.
That was it. You can just see on his face, he's got that look of he knew he was going back. So we don't have to watch any more of that. Actually got 4 hours of sleep last night. That's good. That's good. Glad to see you got some sleep. But yeah, that was sort of a given. I didn't suspect that he was gonna be enjoying that too much. But that's sort of how it goes. What can I say? I suspect that he's guilty of, offing her. But I still believe that the prosecution didn't make a good case. But I wasn't a seated juror. I think that Give me just a second. I've got to do something really quick. Here, I'm back. All right, that's better. That's better. Yeah, the doubtful puppy. No, that's what happens whenever you spill your drink. You're like, oh crap. So I had to grab a paper towel to wipe that up. I didn't want it damaging anything over here. Yes, you like the doubtful puppy. The doubtful puppy. Well, the doubtful puppy. Let's see what kind of silliness that we have to hear today. Yeah, my dog is pretty cuddly. He's pretty awesome. You know, that whenever that picture was taken of him, he weighed about, I want to say 5 or 6 pounds. And he was, no, that doesn't give you any scale because my hands are massive, but I could hold him in my hands like this. He was tiny. Nah. Well, whenever he curled up in a ball, but he would stretch out. He would lay out across my chest. I've got a picture of him laid out across my chest with his head chilled out. He's just splayed out on me. But whenever he's gotten much older. Yeah, if he lays on me like that, that's a 25-pound dog now. So he's he, he's all legs too. That's the thing about it. In that picture, we thought he was going to be short, a little bit chunky, but no, he was not at all short. He's got legs forever. Runs like so fast. It's unbelievable. But that being said, we've got a little bit of stuff I wanted to talk about tonight because everybody's going off about this Eliza Blue stuff. Well, there's a lot of people talking about it, and you know, I went over some of this with Shelley the other night. That this kind of stuff happens whenever we don't vet the people that we watch and pay attention to. They start dropping some love. Hello, Nandor's Menbund. It's so good to see you. So good to see you. We've got a really the vetting of some of these people, especially whenever they say that they're supporting one agenda or another, and some of it sounds too good to be true. No different would be Andrew Tate. I mean, or is that his name? Tate, whatever his name is, Tate or Tot. I don't know. So he's all Giga Chad, and he's got this talk, and he's dark sunglasses, and you too can learn how to do this. All you got to do is spend money to buy my book. It's a cult. Anybody that disagrees with them, anybody that wants to say, yeah, that's not really a good outlook on life. You know, they get lambasted by everybody. Oh yeah, you must be a total whatever. They come up with some reason to, kick you out, and you don't want to be part of the out crowd. Everybody wants to be with the in crowd. And I found him interesting. I mean, it's like he's saying some pretty cool stuff that, I can sort of get along with. But as soon as he was, Cool Frog has some sick indie music going on down his channel. Yeah. Absolutely will. I was actually in there in the earlier. I was in the chat just listening. But he does have some really good stuff, and I'll probably be going over there after I finish up tonight. There's I won't be streaming for a really long time tonight. I'm sort of doing my thing. That's how it goes. Um, but we've got we've gotten so tied up in these Trumpisms and Bidenisms, and everybody's on this train of, MAGA forever, or MAGA's horrible forever, or any of these other number one issues that they're having, that they're coming up with, and you can sort of see through a lot of it. I have a hard time whenever somebody says, "Oh, you must be a MAGA Republican or a MAGA person." I'm like, no, I just vote for the people that I think are going to do the best job. If it's if I think somebody's doing a good job, I support them. I had a hard time because here in Georgia, we had, what was it, Warnock and Herschel Walker, and I couldn't really put support behind either one of them. I voted independent, as I'm known to do. It pisses my wife off quite a bit, but I love my wife, so I let her have her say. I have mine. I think that doing just a short look into some of these people, and you can sort of vet out the trash and the garbage. Um, it's that cult of personality, in a sense of everybody gets behind somebody, which is always good, and backing the people that you believe in the messages that you're giving you is always a good thing. Think about it. You've got Cool Frog over there. He does his thing. He doesn't make any qualms about what he's doing. He's not trying to sell you something. It's like, oh, you can come over to my Discord. I'll promote other people on my channel, and I'm having fun doing it, and I'm getting the subs, and I've monetized and doing some great stuff. It's beautiful. Yes, Andrea, absolutely. A lot of noisy people around at the moment, not a lot of substance. That's one of the biggest things that I try to shy away from. And I get caught up in it sometimes too. I mean, whenever I first had seen Eliza Blue, I was like, oh, that's really good stuff that she's trying to do. She's trying to get rid of the sexual exploitation of children off of Twitter. I mean, who can be wrong in supporting someone that does something like that? I think that's a good thing. But I was a little suspicious whenever I would see any sort of interaction that she was having on on Twitter, which is why I unfollowed her in the first place, because it was like nothing but that. It was like, people have to have opinions about other things, have to have a voice about something else. Me, I just get on there and shit post. I'm usually throwing up memes and making fun of people because it's what I like to do. I rarely say anything of any sort of substance on there, and if I do, well, forgive me, because it wasn't meant to be. Wasn't meant to be anything intelligent. But it's people like Ben Shapiro. Oh, he's doing such great work. He's blah 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 blah. It's just like, hey, I don't buy it. He says some good stuff, but the whole overall piece of him, old enough in her mind. Yeah, I saw that. When I saw that, Andrea, I was I was like, yeah, there's always something a little bit fishy about these folks. And that's an old video. I mean, is, with her, Tate, any of them, they all have this this grift going on. Steven Crowder. I mean, I don't know anything about him personally. I'm sure if I did, I would find him good. Um, and he talks a mean game, but really, maybe, I don't know. Personally, I don't know him. I think he puts on a good show and his content is enjoyable. I have fun whenever he's doing stuff. Dave Landau is hilarious. So you see these guys and they've got a little spiel, they've got their little shtick. Um, if they truly believe it or if they're just saying it to gain a good audience, I don't know. I don't know personally. I mean, does it bother me that they're Christian? No. Does it bother me that, they want to spread the word of God and they believe in Jesus? No, it doesn't matter. Are you giving me good content? Giving me something enjoyable to watch? That's one of the things that turned me on to Nick Rekieta. It was, I want to say it was before the Rittenhouse trial, and got a chance to see some of it, and I was like, oh, I like what this guy's saying. So I went back and saw some of his earlier stuff, and I saw that dude does not take himself too seriously, but he's got strong opinions, and they have never changed. His opinions. Now, his belief in something, as far as once he's examined the situation a little bit deeper, he goes, oh, well, maybe I have to change my opinion on this. And he makes no qualms about it. But it's also, once you learn more information, you get more information. I actually signed up for Mug Club, and that was just because I enjoyed the content. And that was over a year ago, something like that. And shit, hell, I even got one of those nice, cool little mugs. See, nice little cool mug. See, yeah, I joined up with the Mug Club. I thought it was, if somebody's putting out some good content, works mainly as a pencil holder now. If they put out some good content, cool. Give me some content. I liked a lot of the people that they would have on as far as their staff. Quarter Black Garrett, come on. And he's gone on to do a lot more stuff. Outside of that, he's doing stuff with Nerdronics, and that was something that he actually left Crowder to go do that. Hey, how's it going, Cloud? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Does he do a grift? Oh, hell yeah. I mean, whenever I saw him do his little calling out Daily Wire, to me personally, I sort of took the whole thing as a tongue-in-cheek joke. Like, to me, it seems like he's still going to go with Daily Wire, but it's a good way to promote him. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like he was going to stir something up and end up going with them anyway. But I could be wrong. It's just, that's what it looked like to me. I mean, they may just be setting up a whole new studio, and those things take time for the level of what they're trying to do. Because I don't know if they actually own their studio, or if they just had a studio room. A lot of that equipment may belong to someone else, so they may have to buy whatever internal stuff. But it just seemed to me a little strange that they would do it, and then within 24 hours you had Jeremy come out, and Jeremy Boring, I think, Jeremy Boring comes out and releases a statement, it was us, and then he comes back with another little thing, a little tag back. I mean, it almost seemed to me that it was a sham, a show, get people talking about it, get their interest peaked, get their minds up, get their blood flowing, get their saliva juices going. I don't know. I don't know if that's what it was, or maybe they're just biding their time, keeping their name out there in the limelight. Kudos to them. But at least I don't have to, fall on the backs of using small children for my kind of show, because that was a little odd, a little strange, but not as strange as this. Not as strange as this. Yes, we're going to watch this garbage. Sorry to do this to you.
Good afternoon, church. Reverend Sharpton, I want to thank you for all you do for so many. There are so many families here who have been personally touched by your leadership and your strength and your fellowship. Reverend Dr. Lawrence Turner, thank you for welcoming us. Keisha Lance Bottom, Mitch Landrieu. We are here on behalf of the people of our country and our President, Joe Biden. And we are here to celebrate the life of Tyree Nichols. Mrs. Wells, Mr. Wells, you have been extraordinary in terms of your strength, your courage, and your grace.
So disappointing that she has to use somebody else as a prop. This guy that gets pulled out of a car, beat down by 5 police officers to the point that he's no longer with us. Dad does not look too happy at all. Like I'm here with my wife.
And we mourn with you, and the people of our country mourn with you. And I'm going to be very brief.
Oh, I think she just lied right there. She said she's going to be very brief.
Others around the world, when their babies are born, pray to God, when they hold that child, that body and that life will be safe.
Okay. And this was somebody talking about abortion like 2 weeks earlier. Got nothing to say about that. If she says anything about, but the hands of the police.
For the rest of his life. Yet we have a mother and a father who mourn the life of a young man who should be here today. They have a grandson who now does not have a father. His brothers and sister will lose the love of growing old with their baby brother. And when we look at this...
Oh, yeah. She's got the hand. You know, she's looking down at her notes.
Situation. This is a family that lost their son and their brother through an act of violence at the hands and the feet of people who had been charged with keeping them safe.
What did I say? People. The police are not here to keep you safe. Get that out of your head. Police show up after the fact. They are like reporters. Because if they could keep you safe, then they would be there already, and it would be just Minority Report all over again. I wonder if she'll say anything about racism. I have to do it. Sorry.
And when I think about the courage and the strength of this family, I think it demands that we speak truth. And with this, I will say, this violent act was not in pursuit of public safety.
Well, no shit.
It was not in the interest of keeping the public safe because one.
Now, it'd be really interesting because I don't agree that this man should have been beat down or anything like that. I am with you on that. What do you want to meet first? Because I guarantee you, cops ain't going to do it for you. Cops are reporters. That's it. They take a report. They file that report. They may go after the person that committed the crime, but it's sometimes just too damn late. I mean, because they're just, what they'll say is, well, we're stopping them from committing a crime again or another crime. But look at Murdoch. You think they could have stopped that by maybe arresting him as soon as he was wanted by the police for all these crimes? You think it would have done any good if he pulled the trigger or not? You think it would have done any good if they would have stopped him one way and fired him? He would have just found another way. I mean, people that are crooked do crooked shit.
Must ask, was not it in the interest of keeping the public safe that Tyree Nichols would be with us here today? Was he not also entitled to the right to be safe? So when we talk about public safety, let us understand what it means in its truest form. Tyree Nichols should have been safe. So I'll just close by saying this. I was, as a senator, as a United States senator,
completely useless. She was completely useless as a United States senator. And that's picture perfect of her face. Bitter. Bitter, sour, rotten.
as a United States Senator, a co-author of the original George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. And as Vice President of the United States, we demand that Congress pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. Joe.
Yes, Lenny. Exactly. Exactly.
Biden will sign it. And we should not delay.
This poor guy right here. And she is part of that little cult of personality. She's bought hook, line, and sinker. George Floyd, what did that have to do with anything? You know, Chauvin is going in to get a lot of that stuff thrown out. I mean, he's still going to be prosecuted federally. I mean, he's not going to get out of that. But he's trying to get out of the other stuff.
Delay, and we will not be denied. It is non-negotiable. And with that, I'll just.
And there's probably no TV cameras in here. I would almost guarantee they've just jumped into the feed for this church.
This pastor, if you don't mind.
Not anymore, Lenny. Not anymore. She is not. Pelosi is not there anymore. Pelosi is not there anymore. She's not Speaker of the House. Now you've got McCarthy. McCarthy's Speaker of the House. So she goes, Biden goes, Speaker of the House, McCarthy. So he would actually be a Republican. Yeah. McCarthy is hardcore right now.
One of my favorite verses in scripture is Luke chapter.
Yeah, she had to look that up. Watch. See? One of her favorites. If If it's one of your favorites, why did you have to look down and read it?
Is Luke chapter 1, verse 79.
Let me read this for you. Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're all crooked. They're politicians. Yeah.
Which tells us God will help us.
She's making sure she's reading it right. Everybody else is reading it. Come on, look, read.
To shine a light upon those who sit in darkness and in the shadow of death. To guide our feet in the way of peace. Let our memory of Tyree shine.
It's interesting that she would be talking about peace when her administration wants to fight wars in Ukraine, wars in Iran, wars in Iraq. They want to fight wars all over the place. Now, don't get me wrong. There's something very noble about being in the military, about serving your country, for fighting for what you think is right. Kudos. Cheers to you, my fellow soldiers. But there's a big difference going to war, as Cloudalooz just pointed out, to make money. And agreedly, we don't need to be the world police. But that's not what we are anymore. We haven't been for quite some time. I mean, I can go back to some of my earlier memories. Because I remember when Reagan was president and everybody thought that he had his finger on the nuclear button and was going to blow us all to smithereens, and away we would go. There would be nothing left. And what did he say to Gorbachev? Tear down these walls. They opened up the border between East and West Berlin. That went away. Gone. Distant memory. Then the Iron Curtain dropped. And then people ran for the hills. And then the oligarchs came in. They basically took over. These are the people that basically took over all the manufacturing jobs. They just walk in there and say, we have the guns, you don't. You're going to work for us now. What are you going to do? I'm going to work for them. No different than what would happen here. If the government's running everything, all it takes is somebody to come in, somebody come rolling in and say, you work for us now, Twitter. You've been working for the government for who knows how long. You work for us, YouTube, Facebook. You work for us. It could happen. I did a little interesting thing because I did this probably about a week ago whenever I first saw different was got caught. Exactly. That's so true. No, and then after that you had George Bush, and that's whenever I started seeing things sort of go down the tubes. Because, like I said, I think I was talking about this the other night. I was on recall for being in the military, so I had 4 more years left, 2 more years of definitely active duty. If the war was to break out, I'd be called up. And within 4 years, I could be called up. 2 years if it was just like just my unit got called up. Well, my unit luckily never got called up because that was the first Gulf War, because they believed there were weapons of mass destruction. A lot of people don't remember that. My birthday is on September 10th. So imagine, to my surprise, after waking up on September 11th, to see a plane hanging out of a building. And I thought it was a joke on the radio because my alarm had gone off and I always had music playing. I'd listen to the morning guys here in Atlanta. I was like, oh. And I wake up to what I think is just them rambling back and forth and talking trash. But there was a different tone in the voice. And it was, them trying to figure out what exactly happened. It's like a plane hit it. How big of a plane? I had no idea. It was, and so I got up and I turned on whatever channel was on for news. I don't even remember. I just turned it on and I'm sitting there watching and I'm like, oh wow, that really sucks. Is that, not realizing the size of this building. And about that time the second plane hit. And I don't think I spoke for a good hour. I was so blown away by the sheer magnitude of what that implicated, because that at that point it became not an accident. It became something else. It became something drastic. And the company I worked for was handling a lot of festivals and shows. And I called up and I asked them if they had seen what happened. And they said no. We're sort of trying to figure out what's going on. Get up here, as soon as possible. So I got up there and got into work. And that's all that was playing on the news on every channel, them trying to figure out what was going on. And the whole time we're getting phone calls of people's flights being canceled. A lot of musicians that were supposed to be coming into Atlanta, because it was that time of year where, the festivals are starting to pick up, shows are starting to pick up. It was just call after call. We can't get flights. They've got the airports locked down. They don't know what's going on. Another one hit around the Pentagon. We have no idea what in the hell just happened. So, we'll just cancel for now to sort of keep it on standby. So with all of these cancellations going on, we just watched. We watched as those buildings collapsed and pandemonium broke out. It changed everything. It changed the fact that I couldn't walk in an airport anymore without have to get basically prodded, probed, strip searched, whatever. I mean, they're basically doing that if they're having to run a full body scan on you. And it changed everything. Changed the way that people look at other people. What do you do at that point? Everybody thought they were right. Everybody thought that they were in the right for creating the Patriot Act. Everybody thought they were right for developing the TSA. That's big money in it now. TSA makes a lot of government money. Your tax dollars go to work so they can search you top to bottom. Your tax dollars are paid so they can search your bags, search your clothes, search your person. They can take whatever they want from you. They limited you on what you can carry into the airport, out of the airport. They've arrested multiple people for doing absolutely nothing. And it builds up tension between the population. Someone gets a little frustrated, they get angry. Instead of getting hauled off the plane, they get hauled off to jail. Some of them I agree they probably should be. But now anger's run high. Not even 30 years later, not even 20 years later, everybody goes into compliance again. You put those little seed bags over their face. Look like feed bags is what they look like for a horse. And everybody's in a panic again. Everybody's willing to give up every little thing. Self-custody, self-worth, self-thought. They follow the little cult. It's rough. Cloud, absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. But it's destroyed people. Talking about people that weren't germophobes before. They don't know how to interact with other people. They use it as an excuse to have their face covered as they rob a store. Because nobody looks twice whenever you walk into a store and you're wearing a mask. Everybody else is. Except now I pull out a gun and rob the store. Not a good idea. Yeah. Yeah. Try to deter. That's all you can do. I've got the highest respect for police officers until they do what they're told to do and not do what's right. That's the only time I have a problem with a police officer. that's I've never had any problems with police officers. And people say, well, it's because you're white. No. I used to have long hair, like really long hair, plus they see the tattoos. And you come rolling somewhere in Texas, you don't quite fit here, boy. Not uncommon. You get pulled over by a cop, they're going to put eyeing you up and down. You're just one of them there hippies, aren't you? Mm-hmm. We'll see what we're going to do about you. But it was always about giving respect. Giving respect as another human being, not as a police officer because you're threatened to. Just giving decent, common respect to somebody. It's not hard. I think a lot of people use the masks as a reason to not be respectful towards other people. I saw it quite a bit. People were afraid to hold the door open for people. You're not wearing a mask. You must be a bad person. You're trying to kill my grandchildren. You're trying to kill grandmother and grandfather. I actually had a friend of mine at the time go off about that. Said, well, what about grandma and grandpa? I was like, well, they're older, going to die anyway. He didn't appreciate that. He didn't see the humor in it. But the point is, they're all going to go at some point. We're all going to go at some point. Just a matter of what's going to take us out. Yeah. And I think that's also important. It's also important. There is no other. There is no other. I mean, as much as I joke about, someone being gay, don't really care. I really don't care. My one of my old bandmates, believe this or not, one of my old bandmates calls me up a couple of years ago. Just tell me that they're going to transition. We're talking about someone that used to do triathlons. I thought he was fucking with me personally. I really did. I was just like, you're kidding, right? I laughed And he's like, no, that's what I'm doing. I'm like, well, that's a little odd. And I had no response to that. What do you tell someone other than you think that they're, mentally disturbed and they need some help? I mean, somebody comes up to you and says, I feel like I'm going to chop off my arm today. What do you tell them? He's a big man. There you go. Problem solved. Exactly. I don't have a problem with gay marriage. No, never did. I care less. My only problem is what they call it. That's my only problem. Don't call it marriage. Call it a civil union. Call it whatever you want. Marriage is a man and a woman. Nothing wrong with that. I'm all for it. If you want to call it marriage, call it marriage. My only problem is what you name it. But it doesn't matter to me. I mean, name it whatever you want to. Just because I have a beef doesn't mean I'm going to tell you can't do it. I don't care. Well, my next door neighbors are gay. They come over and hang out. We cook out, we hang out, we talk shit. I don't care. They're still people. They still have feelings. They're still cool as shit. We have they've invited us over. My wife and I go over there, bring over some side dish, and they're cooking, they did short ribs one night. Really good. They both like to cook. So do I. And, I've had them over multiple times. They'll come over, drink some beer, shoot the shit, whatever. Hang out by the fire pit. Make jokes. Have fun. Have philosophical discussions. There's no big deal about that. Everybody gets so worked up on it. But anyhow, this crazy broad. Yeah, we got to finish this out with her.
Shine a light on the path toward peace and justice. Thank you.
That just tells you how short Sharpton is. She's like 5 foot nothing. Sharpton's shorter than she is, but of course she's probably wearing heels. She creeps me out. She really creeps me out. Yeah, people are people, characters, everything. Absolutely. My like I said, my old bandmate was actually moving back in town. Talking about moving back in town. It's like, you want to get together? And actually, it's more like, you want to get together? I was like, that would be fine. Just, I'm not available during the week because I'm working. So, but we talk on the phone often, and he feels bad for being a shit back in the day because he was battling with his gayness. I was like, I don't care, gay, whatever, straight. It seemed like you were an all right person to me. I was like, oh, well, it's a bit of an asshole. It's like, well, we're all a bit of an asshole sometimes. And if somebody feels that kind of need to do it, I don't have to accept what they're doing, but I can accept them as a human being. They're on this planet also. Am I going to do something stupid like beat the hell out of them because maybe I can beat the gay out of you? That's not going to solve anything. You maybe talk to them and be concerned about their well-being. I've got odd friends, whatever, doesn't matter. I got a friend that's a complete drunk. Still my friend. I just don't trust him around my alcohol. But I don't know. Enough of that garbage. Enough of that. No, so I've really got nothing super planned to talk about tonight. I just figured I would do this for a little bit of time. maybe about an hour or so, and just see where my chat was up to. You guys are awesome. Cloud illusions. I just saw that. I was cute when I was young. Too cute. I love it. Oh. Oh. Man, you guys are awesome. You really are. You bring humor to my life. My wife was concerned whenever I left being a mechanic that I would miss interaction with people. I miss bad interactions with people. That's what I miss the good interactions with people. I don't miss the bad interactions. You want to talk about a toxic workplace environment, just work with a bunch of mechanics. You're trying to get work done and somebody keeps fucking with you. Sorry. Oh, that's menopause. Oh, I don't blame Doc. After all, it was menopause. You miss the bantering with people. Yes. I miss the good interactions, because there were people that I didn't like working with. I couldn't really tolerate working with complete idiots. I mean, when I say complete idiots, you get hired on as a mechanic, at least you should know how to take off a fucking tire. It's a novel concept. No, but the hanging out, shooting the shit, making fun of each other, the tongue-in-cheek humor that you would get, the little tricks you would play on people. Just, I mean, we had one guy, someone hit his roll around toolbox, big size toolbox, not tiny, but put it in a bathroom stall, locked the door, crawled up underneath out of it. So he had to crawl up underneath it, and he wasn't small, so him trying to crawl up underneath there was quite humorous, just to get his toolbox out of the handicap stall. Yeah. He took it in stride and laughed about it, because he got the guy back like the next day. I mean, the little jabs that we did on each other. Oh, nice. Nice. I like that. That's really cool. Worked on stage crew, audio department. Everyone else on stage except the talent were men. Yeah. That's how it goes. I got a chance to meet Jim Belushi. Not John Belushi, but Jim Belushi, his brother. And it was it's in Savannah for a PGA tour. The company I worked for was called down there to basically supply them with some backline, and came in really nice, really polite, kind to all of the stage hands, and a little bit of arrogance about him, but he was polite to everybody, thankful for everything that everyone did. And I didn't realize how tall he's a very imposing person. He is not tiny. I mean, he's, I don't know, 6'2", 6'3". He's maybe taller. It's hard for me to judge height being 6 foot. Sometimes I see people as taller or shorter, but he's big. I mean, big shoulder, big chested, big bellied. He's not skinny. But he's a little bit imposing, and just really nice. And he was doing, some Blues Brothers songs and sort of reliving that kind of thing. And he stopped, halfway through and was taking a little bit of a break, sort of letting the band play as he's wiping off sweat and getting some water. And he comes back and he was like, "What in the hell is going on? These people just they're not standing up." And I laughed. I was like, Mr. Belushi, you're in Georgia. In Georgia, you've got to work that crowd a hell of a lot harder, a lot harder than you do anywhere else. You got to talk to them. You got to get them up. You got to tell them what to do, or they'll just sit there. I thought that somebody that has been performing long enough would see that. I guess he just hadn't performed in the South and for a bunch of blue hairs. So he actually went back out there and was prompting people, get up in the aisles, dance. Let's have some fun. And sure enough, they did. They got up, started having some fun. That was the only time I ever talked to them, really. Just talk to your audience. You gotta tell them what to do here in Georgia. They're horrible. But oh yeah, most actors are all nice. All there do their job. Yes. But there's also a lot of people that take advantage of it. Usually it's radio personalities that I've found tend to be the most bitter towards staff. I've seen that more often than not. What's my point tonight? Laney, what's my point tonight? I don't know. I'm just interacting with the chat. Just having fun. I have no point. I'm pointless tonight. Oh, I'm actually probably not going to have a very long. What's my poison? What's my point tonight? I don't know. What's my poison? Tonight. Let's see. Doing some Woodford Reserve. There you go. Woodford Reserve. That's my poison. What's my point today? Oh, yeah. It's sort of about right. Oh. What's my point? I was going to say, my point is whatever. Derby whiskey. Derby whiskey? I don't know. Is that what that said? No. No, it's rye. Derby whiskey. I don't know where we got that. It's only like 90 proof anyway. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Oh, hey Grimm's Bar, how's it going? Good to see you. Good to see you. So cool. I need better glasses. Oh, yeah. Autocorrect gets me in trouble so much. So much. Well, it's been such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful week this week. Today it's raining. Tomorrow I get to strip out everything out of my garage. Because I've got some cabinets to put up. A lot of cabinets to put up. Well, not a lot, but a lot of stuff to move around. I've got a safe that weighs about a half a ton. I'm not joking when I say it weighs about a half a ton. Let me see if I can find it for you. No, that wouldn't be it. Be close to it. Let's see if I can find one here. So that would be about right. And let's see. Well, this one's lighter than what I've got. It's close though, just to give you an idea. I back in I can't help you lift a tiny splinter in my finger. So my my wife's office is part of a bank. They rent a space above the bank, and they had these not safes, but filing cabinets. Safe next to your Corvette. No, I'm not Joe. I'm not Joe. So they gifted her this. They said, well, you want this safe or this filing cabinet. It's pretty solid. It's fire resistant. You can put it somewhere. My wife was like, oh yeah, good solid, filing cabinet, and it's fire resistant. Sounds really good. Calls me up. I bring my trailer over there, and I've got this little fold up trailer because I really don't have space to have a big trailer. This little folding trailer, and it'll handle about 1,500 pounds easily before, it just causes problems. So just to give you an idea, this is something similar to it. Nice, big, heavy duty safe. And you think, oh yeah, look, it's a filing cabinet. Well, if you look, the weight on it, on this particular one, is 435 pounds for this little bitty safe. And this isn't even close to the one that was in the bank. So the one that was in the bank, it took 4 people. And we're talking not just 4 people, but 4 grown men and one woman to actually get this thing on the back of my trailer. And once I got it on the trailer, it was so heavy that it pushed the springs down till it was resting on the actual beam that the tires are attached to, the wheels are attached to, the axles are on the axle itself. And I've put a half a ton of stacked stone on that trailer, literally a half a ton, and it was tapping it as I was going down the road. It was tapping that. So it's a little bit over half a ton for this thing. I bet she didn't have a tiny splinter. Yes, the lady that pushed on there, she did not have a tiny splinter, but she was not a tiny lady either. She hit that thing as hard as she could to get it, because we had it lifted up, but we couldn't push it. It was all about holding it up. So she came and actually pushed it while we were swinging it. But yeah, that was so this thing is in my garage and it's huge, and you can move it on the floor, but it shreds whatever, because they painted another story, but it'll just tear up the concrete. It's pretty damn heavy. So I don't have any problem moving it. It's all of the other stuff. I've got a toolbox that, it weighs a lot too, but it's on wheels. Actually, I have two toolboxes. I have a roll cart and a full-size box. So I've got to move those around, tear down some old shelves. They're just cheap plastic ones my wife got, and pull some stuff off the walls, because we've got brick walls in there, uneven brick too. So that's going to make it really fun, but basically doing a wall system, hanging that stuff up, getting all screwed in place. And then the shelves get hooked up and my toolbox is going in one place. That's what my weekend looks like. No, I will not be live streaming that, because I don't want people seeing how fat I am on stream. Oh, it's not that bad. I'm getting a bit of a gut, but it's not that bad. But I don't want people to see how messy everything is. Yeah, I got to pull my motorcycle out of there. I've never been able to park in my own garage. Isn't that glorious? My wife is able to, but I'm not able to park my car in the garage. Nope. So that's what my weekend is going to look like. So I'll probably do some streaming at night this weekend. This is my Friday. I also have decided that, outside of like Fridays and special occasions, I'm probably gonna kick back on or cut back on the drinking on the stream so I don't get too drunk. No, I'll probably be cutting out the alcohol while I'm streaming. I think I do much better whenever I have been drinking. My mind is a little bit clearer. I'm quicker on the draw. Yeah, that would be the best way of putting that. Just a little bit quicker, not so bad, not so bad. But yeah, so the see, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was going to get all of that taken care of to this weekend. That's my big job, is getting all of that stuff. It happens after tomorrow, one day at a time. But yeah, the getting all of the garage cleared out, getting that set up. I've already moved most of the big stuff out into a storage shed. Like I have a collapsible table saw and chop saw, and well, I actually have two. I have one for steel and one for wood. And then I've got a bunch of wood to actually roll out of the way. No, well, all you got to do is just ask Squaw Bob what it looks like here in Georgia. It's like an early spring. It is going to be a beautiful weekend. It'll be in the 40s. It's supposed to freeze this weekend, so it will be dropping down, I think, a couple of nights to 20 some odd degrees, 22, 23, 29, I don't know. But the days are going to be in the 40s, and all we've had is some rain. So it'll be pretty straightforward loading out all of the stuff. We're not supposed to get any rain, and I'll probably get a butt tomorrow. Yeah, I will get a butt and smoke that butt. Yes, it will be very good. So I've got to clean that whole thing up. Southern Missouri. Ooh, I went through Southern Missouri on my way to New Mexico. So my parents divorced in Illinois, and my mother at one point in time basically decided it would be considered kidnapping, but leaving the state without letting the spouse know. Drove from Illinois to all the way through Missouri, Oklahoma, all the way out to New Mexico. That was a long drive. We actually lost a trailer in New Mexico because the axle the axle started on fire. It overheated and burst into flames. Rabbit, that is no fun. Escape from California. So where were you at in California, Cloud? Where at? Supposed to get up to 32 degrees tomorrow. No, thank you. I left that stuff behind a long time ago. No cold for me. We're having a heat wave. Oh, no fun. No fun. Do not like the cold. Do not. No. No, we did that long road trip. That was cold. It was really cold. But yeah, I'm gonna smoke a nice big juicy butt tomorrow. Yeah. because I was trying to determine whether I wanted to do brisket. So if I do the brisket, then I can have some left over and make my brisket chili. Lived in Malibu. Wow. That just had to be pricey. Southeast Kansas. Mm. 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 No. Furthest away I can get from cold states, the better. My wife likes to have all the seasons. That's what she loves Georgia in that aspect of she gets all the seasons. Me, I'm just happy if it's summer all the time. No snow, no changing of leaves, just nothing but tropical weather. That would suit me just fine. If I could, I would spend the rest of my life in a on an island, tropical island somewhere. That would be my dream. That would be my dream, to be on in a tropical island somewhere and just fall here. Could be happy. Yeah. Lenny, absolutely. If you could have fall all year, and I love fall. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love the changing of the seasons. I love that very first snowfall that you get, where it's you go outside and it's this different kind of silence, and you can hear those snowflakes, and just that the way that it hits just moves nice and easy. The sound of your feet walking through that slight crunch, and it's a different sound into itself. That sort of like the Cookie Monster. And you that very first snow that you get, it doesn't matter how heavy it is, how much it comes down. The way that the trees look covered in snow, it's all stacked up, in a little bit, and there's pieces falling off of it. Every so often you hear something fall. You see birds just flitting in, getting bird food, and just the that silence that you get, especially at night. It's really silent, so you hear that make that crunching sound using cornstarch. That's nice. You know exactly that sound. Yep. It's sort of got a little bit of a squeak to it. Just a little bit of a squeak. The that is so beautiful. What I don't like is like 2 weeks later, whenever you've gotten like your third snowfall and you have to shovel the walk again, and it's mostly slush or ice and slush, and you're just like, okay, I'm over it now. That's what I don't like. I'd rather look at a picture instead of shoveling. Oh yes. Oh, love rolling thunderstorms. Oh yes. Yes. Oh yes. The rolling thunderstorms. One of my favorite times out in New Mexico is right before a hurricane or a tornado would come through. Hurricane. Now, I'm in Georgia. You see more hurricane weather than you do anything else. Seeing a tornado come rolling in and watching like hail balls size of softballs. Well, my hands are big, so softball, about the size of a softball, come rolling out of the sky, and it's just coming in big chunks. And I would go out there with a baseball bat. You can see them coming. They're so big, and they just sort of get this arc to them as they come down. You can just, dunk, and it's it's not like you're getting pelted like you would with sleet or hail. You get a whole bunch of them coming down because they're all condensed into one big chunk. And they come hauling down, and they would just shatter into a million pieces whenever you hit them with the baseball bat. That is what I would do for fun. But whenever it would snow out in New Mexico, it would warm up also, like during the day, but not warm enough to really melt enough of the snow. So you get like a few inches. You're in Tornado Alley. Yeah, I've been there. Been in Tornado Alley. Yeah, I know the feeling. Like Oklahoma, Kansas, New Mexico. New Mexico gets a lot of tornadoes coming through. It's just flat. You get that heat coming up and rising, the cold dropping, and it just. I mean, there was a tornado where I lived in Illinois that came rolling down the river, down the river, went over the bridge and just kept on going. Didn't do any damage. It was a small one, but fell last year, slipped on the steps, hurt my back ribs, and Rachel was ouch, ouch. That sucks. Really sucks. You gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful out there. I don't. I mean, I know how to survive in the snow. I know how to drive in the snow and the ice. You just don't if you can avoid it. But take it really slow. Taking it really slow is the most important thing. But now that I'm been southern-fied, which is what it seems like, my wife likes to make fun of me about it. She really does. She really likes to tease me. Like, oh, you're not from the South. Well, I've lived here longer than I've lived anywhere else. I've been in Georgia since, what is it, 92. I lived in New Mexico for a total of 6 years. I lived in Illinois for a total of 13. I think that's right. Something like that. 13 and 14 years. So, yeah. My wife likes to say, well, you're not from Georgia. You're not from the South. I was like, I don't know. My family was born and raised in the South. They were from, the mountains of West Virginia or whatever. That it's hard to trace some of my family back. I was able to trace my grandmother's back because we have someone in our family that is like traced it all the way back to the old country, wherever that might be. I haven't looked into it because there's so much there. The family tree is so broad and far. I believe both my grandparents migrated from Virginia, the mountains of Virginia, to Indiana. And that's where my grandparents are from, but that would have been like my grandparents' grandparents that were in Virginia in the mountains. They were mountain folk. They were true hillbillies. They were the banjo playing kind of hillbillies. There might have been some inbreeding there, but I don't know. I don't know. I didn't never dig into that. I didn't never dig into that stuff. Don't know. Maybe that's why I'm so odd and strange. Maybe there was some inbreeding. Maybe that's what gave me my bad teeth. I blame you, Grandma. I blame you, Grandpa. No. But, well, shit, we've gone like 2 hours almost. Man, oh man, time just flies whenever you're. No, it's been about an hour and a half. Time flies whenever you're having fun. I just enjoy my chat. You have two. Oh, I love that. I love that. My grandmother, for fun, she would take her dentures and she'd rattle them at you. She'd just go. She had it down to a science. My grandmother was an absolute blast. And you also have to understand she was, well into her 80s at that point in time. So she would do that kind of stuff to us kids. She would just smile at you. She'd give you that smile, and she'd take her teeth. She was a character, but she could strip out a chicken in less than like a couple of minutes. And my grandfather, he would bring home a deer, and my grandmother would process it, and they'd have that thing like completely gone in like no time at all. They would just guess it probably was illegal. probably was illegal, and they were making sure that there was nothing left to be found. Yeah. Growing up, venison. Growing up having venison, my grandmother, because they would butcher their own hogs, we'd have like real bacon, like really good bacon. Yeah. She would take her ears. I love that. My wife's grandfather lost his sight. Same thing that Ray Charles had, where it's degenerative, like it just fades away slowly. That was what the issue that he was having. And so he had to learn to write or to read Braille, and learn how to use his stick to navigate. And he wasn't young whenever this happened, so it happened in his later years. And he was he would turn wood and stuff like that before this happened, and he was out there, Farmer Joe, just doing his thing. And so for him to lose his sight, and he was getting partial sight, so he could see a little bit sometimes, and then it just got down to where he could see shadows, and then eventually there was nothing there. But he actually went and learned how to turn wood while he was blind. So he was able to do that so he could feel it. Love to have a lathe and turn wood. Yeah, he did it blind in his 70s. I think he was in his 90s whenever he passed. That was what, about 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Yeah, about 5-6 years ago, somewhere around in there. He and just one of the nicest people I could have ever interacted with, because whenever he passed, he was just like, you could see everybody in the community how loved this man was, because there just really wasn't a mean bone in his body. And I can remember the first time sitting down with him, my wife, and he had asked for some more biscuits. Mother, could I get some more biscuits? That's what he called his wife, his mother. She called him father. And so Mother, can I get some more biscuits? And she, sure. She'd bring him over another biscuit. And after he was done, he would slap his belly and go, Mother, that was the best meal ever. And that's how he was. Every single meal. Every single time. He was always thankful. Always appreciative of his loving, doting wife. And knowing that this old guy is losing his sight, and she'd care for him. So sweet. So sweet, those two. And she was so strongly spoken. She did not mince words at all. If you were a booger towards her, if you were mean towards her, she would lay into you in a heartbeat. She didn't tolerate little kids acting like little fools. She was not hesitant to whip it out and smack that butt and tell them no. My wife wife's other grandmother, on the other hand, she was nicknamed Sweetie because she was an absolute sweetheart, the proper genteel Southern lady. But Mov was not that way. Mov didn't play. She would call you out. So imagine how intimidated I was, because see, I took my wife's last name. My last name is pretty cool. I took my wife's last name, and everybody says, "Oh, what? You weren't confident in yours?" No, there's just a lot of stigma involved with my last name that I wanted to get away from. So it's a way of having a fresh new start. So I talked with the patriarch and the matriarch of that particular family. I actually walked up to her grandfather, sat down, told him that, I was going to ask his granddaughter for her hand in marriage, and I would be honored if I could take his last name. He goes, absolutely, that'd be wonderful. That was pretty straightforward. I got the blessing from the grandparents. Next thing you know, yes, of course she said yes. It was wonderful. But we had a great wedding in her local town. Charleston. My wife was actually born in Columbia, but took her last name, and that sort of threw a lot of people off, because there's a lot of stuff that I did under my previous last name, so people have a hard time finding me. Yes, Charleston is awesome. Charleston is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Actually, all our wedding pictures were taken in Charleston. Had and my wife would kick me because I can't remember the name of the hotel. If I was in Charleston, I'd be able to remember it. We did one of our dinners at Fig, which is food something group. It's really cool. It's FIG Fig. They have the absolute best meal that I've ever had in my entire life, bar none. I would have drank the soup that I had as an appetizer, and there really was nothing to it. It's just the flavors were so spot on. Just having their green beans, and I'm not like a big veggie person, but their green beans were cooked to perfection. Not too much crunch, good flavor, nice seasoning. Yeah, I would eat that meal 100 times over again. Best meal, hands down, I've ever had in my entire life. And I've had some really good stuff. I've eaten in a Michelin restaurant maybe twice, and this still beat it to the max. You could not compete with it. Savannah is your favorite Southern city? Oh, sweetheart. We love Savannah. I like Charleston better. I really like Charleston much better. Savannah is beautiful and people are really great, but man, Charleston did it for me. I told my wife, I was like, this is where I want to be. I want to be wearing a seersucker suit, walking around this town, just taking it all in. That's what I would do all day long. That's why she won't let me move there. Because that's all I would do. I'd just walk around, get all dirty. I'd have to have a suit every day. And then she would be like stuck washing them or something. Yes, I would actually learn how to tie a bow tie just to wear a seersucker suit. Absolutely. But to live in like downtown Charleston, yeah, that's expensive. We're talking one house easily in the millions. It is not cheap, and it's historical, so you got to be really careful. And no, it's the moss. It's the moss hanging from the trees that makes it so beautiful. Savannah has that too. Now, my wife and I, we've been scouting places along the coast because we don't want to live in close to cities. She likes to garden. I like to woodwork. So we have been doing, it's a Spanish moss, I believe. Could be wrong. I forget things quite a bit. That's why I go off track all the time. But our plan is to move coastal, like on the outside of I-95 kind of area. So not last weekend, but a couple weekends ago, that's what we were doing. We were actually looking at property just along the coast, looking at different places, figuring out where we wanted to be. And oh my God, the different places that we saw. Oh, so nice. So nice. We found some that were just so far out there, desolate. So one of our plans is to find some property, not pay a whole lot for it, just get the property, and over the next 5 to 10 years is get like the architectural plans, sort of get a lay of the land, figure out how we were going to build it, and then sort of design our own house and have it built and then move. And maybe sooner than that, just depends. That'll depend on within the next year or so whether we do or not. Now, we've got a pretty decent house here. It's actually increased in value quite a bit in Atlanta. But that is sort of our goal, is to find a decent little piece of land, just to hold either we hold on to it and move there, or we find another place that just happens to come on the market that we're interested in. Initially, it started out looking for like a vacation home, something that we could like Airbnb out for, however much, just for some, retirement income, not necessarily that we would live there, but be able to sort of rent it out. And it's like, maybe we'll see. But we sort of switched plans and midstream said, hey, we're going to do this. Get ourselves a nice little place, nice little plot of land, place that she can garden, a place that I can have my wood shop. We don't want to have some like HOA that's going to be bitching and moaning about, oh, he runs a saw at 3:00 in the morning. Well, fuck you. That's whenever I felt like working on my goddamn project. Sorry, I will chill on that. But yeah, so she can do what she would like, what she loves, what we both love. Well, in some of the places we looked at, I will tell you right now, loud. Some of the places that we looked at were, we had to. We would have to have to be part of the HOA, but also you have to see what their covenants are, what they allow, especially because we've looked at some islands, because there's a lot of islands along the coast of Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, all that stuff. There's a lot of little places. You get on coastal and the closer you get to the ocean, the more HOAs that you're going to have. So it would be one of those where very low HOAs and very minimal intrusion into your private life. That's one of the goals. Only reason I know how bad and horrible HOAs are is because my wife worked for one of the places that actually wrote most of the HOA rules in the state of Georgia. Actually, one of her mentors wrote most of them for the state of Georgia. Greetings, Daisy girl. How you doing? But yeah, that's our plan. Just find a nice little home away from home, build it up, and have it all done. Make it our own. Also because she's starting to realize that she's not going to be young forever, and I'm not going to be around forever to drive her around close to a lake for fishing, third of an acre, but close to a medical. See, and that's exactly what we're looking at. Those kind of things right there. That's exactly what we're doing. That's where the rabbit hole started. Get it? Rabbit hole. Love you, rabbit. No, we were basically looking for, a couple of different prospects. What's up? Has anyone any new news on China spy balloon the Pentagon is tracking? Do I have any news on that? No. I heard about that. Makes me suspicious. I think it's Canada spying on us. Oh, I'm just giving you a hard time. Just giving you a hard time, easy girl. No, there's but as I was saying, so our plan is to have that little homestead so we can design the home that we want. And it may end up being that we just buy a house, and because it's set up the way that we want it, and then of course redo it. Yeah, redo it. A balloon. Yes. I'm with you on that. That's I'm suspicious about anything the Pentagon says. I will just tell you right now, I have a hard time believing a lot of stuff the Pentagon says, because I think they want another war. Everybody wants a war. It's good money. War is a wonderful moneymaker. Everybody knows this. That's another reason why I want to get to a place that's away from the cities. Get away from the cities. Get that nice, peaceful night. Get to hear the crawdads sing. Bullfrogs just letting out that low. Yeah. Yours needs works. That's the. That isn't the fun part, though. Yeah. Well, that's one of the things with my wife. Rabbit. Rabbit. Shh, we're not supposed to let anybody know about that. Don't you know that I'm a Chinese spy? Don't need TikTok. No, I'm not a Chinese spy. That would be weird, though, to be a Chinese spy. That would be really weird. What would you spy on, really? I mean, think about this. Outside of like Pentagon and crap like that, what would you really be spying on? Spying on people doing stupid dances? Saying stupid shit on the internet? I mean, you can see that anywhere. You don't have to put anything into it. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's awesome. Threatening Byron with spilling his secrets if he shoots it down. As soon as it gets shot down, it releases Biden's laptop 2.0. Dun, dun, dun. Spy on me, getting wood for the fire. Well, I will show you something really cool. Let me find it. because it was something I pulled up that was just absolutely awesome. See, where you guys get to enjoy having a wonderful time coming out, hanging out with me. Let me see if I can find it here because it'll be back like in my history. Sunday, no. Sunday, where is it? I found something that was so awesome. And this guy does this stuff all the time. And is so peaceful. And let me see if I can find it here. So this guy, and I'll share it here because it's so much fun. Share screen. So this guy, I've seen a couple of the things that he does. I think he's like in Russia or something somewhere. Building these like this cabin, and he's using nothing but original tools. Axe, all his lumber. He's doing all of this work. So he got down to, there's one coming up here that's going to be pretty awesome. Let me see if I can find it. So whenever I first saw this, he was in here pulling all these rocks out. And he does this shishugibon on this wood. This is what shishugibon is. I'll show you because I've done this before also. So he's trimming all these things off, and all this lumber. See, that makes me suspicious. But shishugibon is basically just burning the wood. That's what you're doing. Is you're setting it on fire, and it keeps the insects out. He does have a spot here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? He got all these tiles from a barn that had been abandoned and then just hooked them all up. Built a ladder for his little secret compartment inside his thing. See, this is the kind of snow that I like. That first snow where it's just nice, beautiful, easy. How did he lift those timbers? Oh, well, let me show you. Get right here. He started stacking them. And then that's how he lifted them. He would moss them. He would clear out the center of the post, roll them up there, groove it out, flip it over, and away you go. So this little space he made down here, he's actually making a ladder. See the wood that he's making for himself? That thing started out as a puppy. It's one of the boards he's doing. Cuts them all out and boom. Doing it all by hand. But he does this. So you'll see this concrete down here. So he went down, found all of this sand, made his own cement, and created his own bricks for this cellar. And then he put these shelves in. Put his legs on there. Because he doesn't even have a door on this thing yet. But he fills up his root cellar with all of the stuff that he's been growing. He grew all of these potatoes. Pickled cucumber. I think what's his weed? Lingonberry, mushrooms, applesauce. I mean, this guy is just high on the hog there. Makes his door, foraging. Yeah, you don't really want to see some of this. So towards the end of this, so where is it? So he built this smoking cab little place that he actually built this whole thing right here. He's smoking a hog that he butchered, a wild boar. Does that not look good? Does this not look just delicious? So he did these. I wish I knew what it was that he made. So he built a table, and then he cooked this mixture. If anybody knows what this plant is, tell me, because it's so awesome. Where is it? Ah. So you got all these different things. Are you thinking building one for you? Oh, hell no. No, not building one for me. I'm just impressed that this guy was able to do all of this. Just a nice, easy creation that he did. Now, see, I can do that stuff. That's pretty easy right there. What he's doing is just used to plane, making it nice and smooth. But you see what he's picking right here? Does anybody know what this is? Anybody? Looks like a lilac. But it could be some sort of sumac. I'm not sure. It's really weird. Maybe it's a certain kind of plant. You think he's ready for the... I'll show you where he lived to start this out. I think a lot of this was just, pure skill. So he makes this, and then he cuts up lemons, pours it all in there. Of course, he didn't grow those lemons. He had to get them from somewhere, because I don't think they grow naturally where he's at. I just wonder where we got the lemons. Where did he get those lemons from? He's going to take this and he's going to store it. And he's going to actually pour it out later on. So he's firing all this stuff up. And all these people start showing up. It's like, I guess, family, friends. And he's already poured those things. So those bottles right there is that lemon mixture of whatever he made.
Eric's video.
Got this whole thing that he's cooking. Look like some marinated steaks. That's definitely not smoked beef. Potatoes, tomatoes.
Blir det bananasplit efter det eller?
Nästan bättre att köpa en sån här automatisk baseballsmaskin.
Sounds like it's a little bit French. Main house 50 feet to the right. That's about right. That's about right. No, if you like that, this guy, he's Eric Gramfkist. It sounds German to me. But at the very beginning, very beginning of this, where is it? Nope. 3 years earlier. Yeah. Yep, Stockholm. So he's in Stockholm. What is that? Stockholm? Is that Swiss? Okay. Amsterdam, possibly. That is so pretty. See, I find this very beautiful. I just would not want to live in it. Amsterdam, Stockholm. I don't know. I don't know geography outside of this here United States. I couldn't tell you where in the hell I am. No, that's that guy right there is Eric Gravnest. Let me put a link up there for you. Paste. There we go. Sweden. Okay. So right there. It's good stuff. And it's so calming for me. So like whenever people say, well, what do you watch? That's the kind of shit I watch right there. That's not all that I watch. Sniper's Nest comes out at 11:30 so I can find out what up with balloons. That someone just got guns out to reach it. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. There's another one that I've been. Oh my. Let me see if I can find it here. Sometimes I find like really interesting one. And some, the reason that I pull these, if you got derp today now, ha ha ha. Damn, you could have warned me, Mr. T. So, the other stuff that I'll watch is this one here. Where is it? So this one right here. This is one of my favorites. Just watching this guy do his thing. Takes this piece of wood, glues it all up, makes a form, pours epoxy to fill it. So that's some patience right there. See, what I do is I play it back 2 times speed. Because I like getting to that finished product. Yeah. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I watch. Those are my kind of evenings because I find it very calming, very relaxing. Div still has her balloon. Let's tune in a future conflict tomorrow after lunch. Should be good. Should be good. No, I enjoy the creative and people that perfect what they're doing, what they're working on. My wife asked me if I wanted a lathe. I told her absolutely. Would love to have a lathe. And then once I showed her one of these videos, she was like, well, maybe we'll just hold off on that. I don't know if we have enough places to put all of the destruction that you would cause and the amount of debris that you would create. See, the only problem that I find using like epoxy, if you're doing any sort of wood turning, although it looks really beautiful, is you can't really dispose of it. You can't burn it. You have to basically throw it in a landfill. So that's my only problem with epoxy. That's my biggest problem with it. And if you're doing wood turning with it, I understand you get some really beautiful things out of it, but trust me, I'm not one of these green people. No, far from it. It's like everybody's going, "Oh, let's buy an electric car." I'm like, no. Give me gasoline engine all the time. I'm happy with it. Oh, that's so nice of you, Rabbit. Make sure you do that. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and share. And also, I'll have to pull that up here because I just don't do this enough. I'm bad at marketing myself. I've always been bad at marketing myself. Let's see. I'll paste that, and there we go. So that there is. I should be able to do this here. Pin the message. There we go. That's my link tree. So my link tree, you can buy me a cup of coffee over there. Buy me a cup of coffee at Linktree, or it's in my Linktree thing. So yeah, I've got a really good crowd here. I enjoy all the people that come in here, all the people that hang out, listen to me talk random shit, go off on little tangents, tell horrible stories. I am a horrible storyteller. I might have a nice, smooth, silky voice, but I am horrible at storytelling because I get distracted easily. My mind goes a million miles an hour. My wife, she finds it frustrating because I can jump topics like a train getting derailed. Because I just tend to talk about what's on my mind, and my mind is going 100 miles an hour, and my mouth can't keep up with what's going on in my head. Maybe that's why I liked speed metal as a young man. Maybe. And then I sort of outgrew it. It got too much for me to keep up with. Oh, see, Daisy Girl? Yep. That's all I do. I just ramble. My wife finds it rather annoying when I go off on wild tangents, but see, I don't have to torture my wife. I get to torture you, the listener. You get tortured by me. It's awesome. No, I really enjoy doing this. And I really appreciate you guys hitting that like and subscribe. I enjoy life itself. Life is so beautiful. Why doesn't people like this Eliza Blue twat figure this out? People are so gracious with their time and with their energy. that all you have to do is just thank them and find other things to do with your life. But she's got a grift off of people. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think that all you folks are wonderful. Oh. Why must I get so old? Everything aches after a certain time. Yeah. Yes. I think that is exactly what it is that beats you. People choose to be miserable, make others miserable. And I think the worst part about all of that, going back and forth between my stream and Kaiser's Wall, thank you very much. Nuclear fear stuff. Check out some of Galen Windsor's lectures on nukes. Cool. No, there's a common thread of thought out there that, you know, we need to have leaders to save us from whatever X, Y, or Z. And there's plenty of people to jump in there that are going to maybe have noble efforts whenever they start, and to make them seem more validated, they will lie to you about the shit that they went through. Like, you know, I make no qualms about being a musician and touring, but I'm not on the level of a well-known artist. Never made like anything famous that anyone ever would have heard of. I've seen lots of famous people. But I make no qualms about playing music and being okay. I mean, I'm not like the best in the world. Of course, at times I thought I was the greatest in the world. In my own mind, I can take over the world. But no, I make no qualms about being, you know, playing music and being good at what I did, but was never going to become famous. I make no qualms about, I worked as a welder, worked in pipeline construction, not like top of the line welder, just a mediocre welder. And I helped me get jobs later on. I make no qualms about me working at a Waffle House. I've done lots of different jobs in my life. Never really found that particular career that I enjoyed so much. Mechanic was what I studied for in the military. And once I got out of the military, I chose to do something completely different. Pipeline construction into touring with a band, and then figuring out that musicians do not make money. Isn't that wonderful? No, if you're a musician, you don't make money. You have to find work to do. And so I ended up going cooking and learning how to do short order cook, because those jobs are pretty easy to get. Once you learn that, you can get pretty much a job anywhere, any sort of little fast food restaurant. I worked at Steak and Shake, Denny's, and Waffle House, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. Steak and Shake, Waffle, yeah. Steak and Shake was probably the worst place I ever worked at. It was horrible. Little meat pucks or whatever, and you smash them down into basically nothing. And through some of those experiences, because I just always had this work ethic of just grinding through it, bust my ass to do it, I was lended opportunities. I ended up meeting up with one of the premier cabinet builders in the state of Georgia. And whenever I say cabinets, I mean PA cabinets. He built for everybody. Like, if someone knows about PA equipment and I name this person, everybody knows who they were. Everybody, because he built stuff for like Charlie Daniels whenever he was still alive. I think Charlie Daniels was dead, but yeah, whenever Charlie Daniels, he like retrofitted his like tour bus. This guy was a genius. But I got hired on for him, and he taught me how to do some woodworking, which was great. And then that paid off later on whenever I met somebody that knew of him that needed cabinets built. I ended up going to work for him. And that was after I worked on, because I had doing touring, I got a job working, you know, hauling B3 organs around and picking them up from different states. And then I ended up working at this place, and next thing you know, I'm learning how to build B3 organs. Odd thing to learn, and met a lot of musicians through that. And through that, ended up getting another job at a backline company because, they knew each other and because I didn't screw anybody over. So it's you learn through experience as a much older person. You learn through experience by experiencing. So whenever I see young guys saying, "Oh, I can do X, Y, or Z," it's just like, yeah, I'm sure you can, but live it. Take the heartache, take the teeth kicking, because it happens. I've been kicked in the teeth plenty of times, and you learn from that, and you also get to meet a lot of really interesting people along the way that you didn't even know were interesting. You don't realize how interesting they are until they're not in your life anymore, and you're like, damn it, that person was so cool, and loved it. I've loved every bit of where my journey has taken me over the years. If it had not been for me going on tour, being a musician, working for a stoner that builds PA cabinets, if I had never done that, I never would have met my wife. I worked as a mechanic, and that was due to my wife saying, "You need to get a freaking job, you lazy ass bastard." No, we were married, and I got booted from an IT job. Long story. Got booted from an IT job and walked into a place to get my tires rotated or flat tire fixed, and basically applied for a job at the place that did it. They hired me on the spot, and that's what I did for, I don't know, like 3 years. And they kept asking me, because I would diagnose the cars, and they're like, "Wow, what do you want to be a mechanic?" I was like, "No, because I can make more money just showing up and working when I want to. I don't have any stress on me." And then lo and behold, I had a smart manager that came along and said, "Well, I'm making you a mechanic whether you like it or not." So I ended up getting about $30,000 worth of tools and did that for many years. And then my hands stopped working. So these big meat paws that you see, when I say big meat paws, I mean big. These are massive. Think about it. That's a pen. Yeah, big meat paws. Full size pen, big meat paws. My wife's hands are like little tiny things, like little bitty, like, I guess it would be creepy if she was a child, but she's not. But like whenever I hold my nieces and nephews' hands, it's like little bitty. They got little tiny hands. My wife's hands are bigger than that, but it's weird. Open a lot of jars. Good God, yes. Yes. Do I open a lot of jars? Oh, geez. Yes. Open a lot of jars. Yes. Yes. No, but the pain from arthritis, sorry about that. The arthritis and tendonitis, carpal tunnel. Of course, I don't really trust doctors. That's one of the reasons why, because I told them that I couldn't feel my thumb anymore. Like I can drive stuff into the end of my thumb. It doesn't hurt. I don't feel it. I have no feeling there anymore. So I went to go see a doctor at my wife's behest, and 3 specialists later, and they said, "We don't know." So that's where I'm at with that. They're like, "Oh, it might be a pinched nerve." And of course, they said, "Well, you've got arthritis and you've got carpal tunnel and tendonitis. And what have you been doing?" I was like, "Oh, just playing music, working on cars." Like, well, might have to stop doing that because they're not going to work anymore. I guess plain wore them out. Cloud, I will tell you, my mother-in-law, she was the happy homemaker. She loved to wash dishes. And whenever she divorced my wife's father, she went many years and then she remarried. She remarried a doctor for the CDC. And he just basically did grants back in the day. He did like venereal diseases. He was like in that area, and then remarried somebody, and he talked her into applying for a government job. Well, get to your hands because this is really important. Don't let me get off track here. So she got the government job, but she had to go get fingerprinted. For all government jobs, they require fingerprints. Whenever they went to fingerprint her, her fingerprints wouldn't work. They didn't show up. She has no fingerprints. She's washed dishes for so long that her hands are free of fingerprints. Like all over the whole palm, she doesn't have the prints, or it's very, very faint. You can see them, but they don't print out. So that was a difficulty for her. She actually ended up still getting a job. She was doing like bank audits and stuff like that to make sure that the banks were doing what they needed to do. And then she's retired now. I mean, both of them retired. Really cool people. So we go and visit them every Christmas and visit the nieces and nephews. And that's how we do our Christmases. My wife says, "Do you ever miss having your family around? Because it's all about my family." I was like, "Oh no, my family, as much as I love them, I love being with her family because they're just so much fun." My prints are on file. Cloud, my prints are so destroyed at this point. Oh, it's awful. I've got cuts on my fingers that have changed my fingerprints. Yeah, I've done some pretty intensive labor. My hands are not as calloused as they used to be especially when I was playing all the time. It would take me about a week to get the calluses back. But yeah, my wife is so much happier now. Oh, ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Yeah, I feel bad for that. That does not feel good. No, what was I saying? Oh yeah, it doesn't really matter. I'm an odd character. Like I said, I have the worst memory. That's why I have such a hard time lying, because I get caught in lies. So I decided a while back, whenever I couldn't like keep shit straight in my head, that I would just not lie. Sometimes it's brutally true, but I also try to be like, sympathetic. That's why, like, it's good to see the same people come in, like Cloud Illusions, Rabbit, Daisy Girl, Mr. Terrible, of course. It's good seeing the same people because I can keep the names down, but I guarantee you at some point in time, I'm just not going to be able to do it. My wife thinks that I might be having Alzheimer's or something. I was like, honey, the reason that we got married on the 15th of September is so I could remember that it was 5 days after my birthday. Remember? That's a pun. Not a pun. It's just ironic. My wife decided to do that because she was like, well, you'll never forget our anniversary because it's going to be 5 days after your birthday. It was also an off day for Georgia that year. So they were playing a game that was just a buy game, which also ended up making my brother-in-law late. My wife gave him so much shit for that. Of course, I gave her hell on wedding day because the night before, she decided that she was going to go drink for me and Patron. In case you don't know, I don't think I'm slurring too much. That's how much I've gone through tonight. About, I don't know, about a sixth of the bottle. That's all I've gone up with. So my wife doing shots of Patron, and I don't really like Patron, but whenever you've got your best man buying it for you and your wife or future wife at the time, that's whenever you partake. And I will tell you what, next morning she was so ill. She was not feeling it to go get her hair done. I think she said she threw up like 3 times. Poor lady. First, 21st of September. Was it September or December? It was the 21st of September. The day on now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Damn it. Now you got songs stuck in my head, bastard. So this morning, my wife does this little thing. What is it? It's hurdle. So where you hear a song, but they only play like a second of it, and then if you get it wrong, or you can just skip, you can get more of the song, and then it goes 2 seconds. So today's song, which was hilarious, first part of it that I heard, because of the little drum hit at the very beginning of it, and what sounded like a keyboard in it, I was like, that sounds like I was like, is that Light My Fire by The Doors? Yes. Changing the mind of pretenders while chasing clouds away. Do you remember the 21st of December? Love was changing the mind of pretenders, chasing the clouds away. Mm-hmm. So I was wrong. It was not Light My Fire. She never would have figured that one out. So I played the second part of it. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, I think I know what it is. I was wrong to start out with. And I actually had to come down and check it out because it's part of my intro. Just listen. You'll hear it. Not that one. So it sounded a little bit like that. But it wasn't. I was like, what in the hell song is this? And and I had to like wipe all of the streaming shit that I've been doing over the past like month completely out of my head and listen to it again. So I went back up and I listened to it. I was like, yes, I know this song. It was Dire Straits, Sultans of Swing, but I could not remember the name of the band. I could remember the song, but I couldn't remember the name of the band. I was like, Sultans of Swing. And she was like, how in the hell did you get that? Now her brother, which I think he cheated, he ended up getting it at the very beginning. And I'll pull it up just so you can sort of get an idea of what it sounded like. Because it threw me off. Let me see if I can. So let me do this. Share this. That's wrong. Share this tab instead. So here we go. Just listen to the very first part of this and you'll see. So that's all you get at the very beginning. That's the first second of that song. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, that's got to be the, the Doors. And if you listen to the very first, and I'll play that in a little bit, the very first part of the Doors, you sort of get that. But here's 2 seconds in. That's 2 seconds in. I was like, oh, I know that right there. And so she was curious if there would be anything past that where she would have got it. And here's where she got it. That's where she got it. She was like, I would have gotten it there. So this is what my wife and I do early in the morning whenever I bring her first cup of coffee. Is she will play me a song, and a lot of times I won't get it. But what I did was pull this one up to start out with. And I actually played it because that's what I heard was that. Yes. That's what I was hearing at the very beginning. But I didn't have enough information. So that's what I do with my wife early in the morning. Whenever we first are waking up, our morning routine is just to do random crap like that. I'm an odd character. So I hear music that I haven't heard in a while. Like I think she played me something and I got it right off like the very first note. Which isn't very often that I can do that. I do not remember what it was. It was I think it was Link Ray. I'm almost positive it was Link Ray. As soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, I know that. Yes, it was. So this is what she gave me.
Okay, here he is. Let's welcome Link Ray.
That's all I was given. That sound right there. And I was like, that's Link Ray. She was like, what song? Rumble. That is the first song to ever be censored. Very first song ever to be censored. Amazing, isn't it? Recorded in 1958. So just imagine 1958. This song was recorded, was banned from being played in the radios. And there's not a single lyric in it. Not a single word spoken. It is nothing but instrument. The whole time, that's nothing but instrument. Look it up, Rumble. So, yes, the sideburns, Cloud Illusion, the sideburns were unbelievable. But I actually got a chance to see Lank Ray play here in Atlanta, Georgia. He would come into and play at the Star Bar on a regular basis. And it wasn't an expensive ticket to be able to see a legend like Lank Ray. There was very few songs that he sang on. Very few songs. Because he had damaged part of his throat, and there's a particular disease that you can get, I think, as a young child, or he got it during the Korean War. He was actually a soldier that damaged his throat, and the doctor told him that it would be best if he didn't talk because it would hurt his voice. It's pretty insane that this man actually had a pretty good singing voice, but he didn't sing. Very, very seldom. Very seldom. And I'm going to pull somebody up that I think is one of my favorites. If I can find it here. And so this is somebody that whenever he would come to Atlanta, he would sit in, and because of his particular instrument is not something that you could tour around with. It's not something that was easily portable. So it was easier for him to basically fly into town and rent one out. And this guy, whenever he would come into town, he would sit down at my buddy's that actually played on one of our albums. Really good musician. He would sit in, and he would specifically request this particular B3. It has to do with the keys. Yes, Hammond B3 with a Leslie, and there's only one person that is absolutely the master of it, and it's this man right here. So yes, that is the man right there. You know who I'm talking about. You've seen this man. This is live, so you can get away with a little bit more. Oh. Mhm. Ah, Jimmy Smith. Just so much talent. See, it makes me just wish that I could play keys. I really do. I really wish that I knew how to play the keyboards. Everybody told me that I had the hands to do it. I had the piano fingers. If you give you an idea. Just to give you an idea of the stretch that I have, standard bass, there to there. So I'm able to get the half notes and even further. So I've got the massive hands to do it. So for me, playing a piano would have been glorious. The only problem is I work in really weird patterns. I don't know if I'm like slightly autistic or just slightly retarded. Probably a combination of both or a party of none. But I could never. That's a live show. It's going to be really hard to get me for a live show that was recorded live. Tell you an interesting story. Somewhere in my archives, I have a really well-known band. It was really big back in the 70s. Very well-known band. An English band. It was recorded in Atlanta, Georgia. This wonderful English band that did not fit in very well with the wonderful life of Georgia. Cloud? Yes, that was me. I was the mystery bass sound that you were hearing on somebody else's stream. So in Atlanta, back in the 70s, there was this band that came rolling through, and they had a song that was called God Save the Queen. Anybody guess who that is? Go ahead, put it in chat. I'm waiting. Somebody knows. Somebody knows. They will figure out who did God Save the Queen. Shame on you, Cloud. Shame on you. I'll give you 3 guesses. You need a spanking, Cloud. Telling you. Back in those days? No. Tell me which one of those bands, because Ramones were from New York. Oh yeah, you're close. Got one more guess, Cloud. If you don't get it, I'm going to be very disappointed. I will feel rotten. I will threaten you with the rottenness. What I'm going to have to do is transfer that over onto digital. A band from England played God Save the Queen. How's that, Daisy Girl? It's a mystery. It's a mystery. It just viciously destroys me in the worst possible way. It's rotten, isn't it? So rotten. Oh, damn it. It is so close. Dangerously close. See the flag, you see it waving. You can almost see the dog collar around the neck with a padlock on it. Oh, geez. Of course. See, there you go. Rabbit got it. First guess. Cloud got it, of course. Yes. So I've got a recording that they did live here in Atlanta of the Sex Pistols playing live. There's not very many recordings of this that I know of. There might be a couple. But the beauty of it is the person that happened to be like touring them around and basically being their driver was one of my boss's wives at the time. It was his wife at the time. He's since divorced, remarried. And the lead singer, Mr. Lindell, never had been to such a wild, crazy town such as Atlanta. And said, well, where's the craziness happen? Where is all of the nightlife? Where is the fun stuff? Because Atlanta, back in the day, back in the 70s, it shut down. Its streets were shut down at like midnight. It's like, well, what's there to do? And she looked at him and said, well, you may not like it. He was like, no, if the party is happening, that's where I'm at. I want to go. So Johnny Rotten, or John Lindell, he was going by Johnny Rotten at the time, said, I'm up for it. Don't care what it is. Let's go. So she took him to a gay bar. Straight up like homosexual. No like qualms about it because they were up all night, did not give a absolute damn. Took him over there and he had the absolute time of his life because nobody was judging him for being in the South, because here in the South, they didn't like him at all. So it took him to a gay bar. He had an absolute blast, had a party. Everybody hung out. Oh, yeah. No, he was, let's put it this way. Cloud, I will tell you right now. In Los Angeles, when I was out in Los Angeles, one of the best places for a straight guy to go is in a gay bar. Straight girls were a dime a dozen there. You had tons of them going there. The straight girls would go to the gay bars because they knew they weren't going to be picked up by guys. So if they were somewhat famous, they would go to the gay bar. So if you wanted to meet someone famous, an actress, all you had to do is go to a gay bar. Blue Parrot. All you had to do is go to the gay bar. You were guaranteed that you were going to meet some starlet. Guarantee it. Of course, you had to sort of fight off like the guys that were just like, oh, you have such pretty eyes. Would you like to get close to me? I will make you my man-child. No. I didn't go, but there were friends of mine that they would go. They were just like, dude, I met blah 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 blah. They would name off people. Bars, gay or straight. Exactly. Me, I was too broke. I was too broke. In my apartments. So let me pull them up. I'll show you. Show you where I lived in Los Angeles. Actually, it wasn't Los Angeles. It was in Hollywood. So pull it up here because where I lived at was a block. Let's see here. Ah, yes, this is the exact place that I lived at. Here we go. Let me share this tab instead right here. This is where I lived. So this was my parking deck, because everybody had parking decks, but I lived this particular place, which has gotten refurbished since I lived there, had a courtyard in the center. And we lived up on the top floor and go up here in the wintertime. But literally, I lived this far from Santa Monica Boulevard. And if I'm not mistaken, there's probably still a gas station here on the corner. Yep. 7-Eleven right there on the corner. So this is Santa Monica Boulevard, the most famous place whenever I was living here back in the day, is where all of the pretty boys like to hang out. So that's where I lived, and my walk on a regular basis. Well, I'll just show you because hopefully you don't get too dizzy watching this. But I'd walk up here, that fountain, yep. Go down Fountain, and I would hit another street over here. There it is. This was my walk. If I didn't drive, this was my walk. Joke not. This was my walk every morning that I come in, and we probably find the little and I'll show you where I worked. So over here, it's not there anymore. Got to go a little bit further. And bigger, boom, boom, boom. So this should be Wilcox Avenue. So Wilcox was one that I would go to. Yep, Wilcox was a street that I was on. And did I pass it? Nope, didn't pass it yet. It'll get there. So every morning, this was my walk every freaking morning. Now you start hitting West Holly. So East Hollywood was a little bit different. Yeah, I think this is it right here. Should be fine right here. Yep. So that was my entrance right there. So I worked in the Taft building. And right around the corner, well, there's a Starbucks there now. That's odd. So right over here, I don't see it anymore. Of course, I suspect it's not there, but right here, there was a little, what do you call it? A Greek restaurant that was open like 24/7. Now, whenever I would go to practice, this is where I would go. If the building is still there, it might have gotten tore down. Nope, still there. Oh, and just so you know, Hollywood Boulevard still has stars all the way down this way. Man, they've put in a lot of car lots since I was there last. And it looks like the building right there. Damn, they've changed it. Let me see. Is that right? Damn. No, it's all gone. Yeah, it was the 101 was right over there. If I'm not mistaken, this was the building we used to barbecue out on. So this is like the worst part of town. You see, actually, it's probably this building right here. It's been so long since I've been there, but there was like places that we go over here, and it wasn't uncommon that you would get shot at while you were driving. Just you'd get those drive-bys. Probably the storage place. It's because it's changed. The landscape has changed so much. It's really, really super hard to tell. But what I would do is whenever I would get off work in the wee hours of the morning, which was about 7 o'clock in the morning, that because I worked the night shift. Yes, I worked phone sex in the Taft building. Whenever I would get off work, I could just go up Vine, and it takes you up to the Hollywood Hills, and there's certain spots that you can get off, and you actually walk up to the Hollywood sign. And what I do is go up to the Hollywood sign. Once you get up to the Hollywood sign, there was a path that would lead all the way down from in between like the L but the L and the Y, somewhere around in there. There was, and those signs, you don't see it from the ground. That they're basically big corrugated tin, or the big corrugated sign, whatever. They're not like flat or anything. Oops, sorry. They're not flat or anything. They're corrugated, and they just keep them painted. There's graffiti on the back side of them and all kinds of stuff, but they're enormous, big sign. It used to say Hollywood Land is what it was called. Cool. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. See you soon too. But I would run down from there back down to the street, and you just got to keep your feet off the ground because you're basically free falling. So much fun. Hollywood was a blast. Would I ever live there again? Absolutely fucking not. If someone asked me if I wanted to go back there, I would tell them no. Thank you very much. See, Cloud. Everybody loves you, Cloud. We appreciate you. Blue Parrot, Queen Mary. Actual places. Oh, Cloud Illusions, one of my favorite followers here. I've got such a great group of people. I've got Rabbit. I've got Cloud Illusions. Mr. Terrible comes in here and loves to give me shit. Of course, Darth Idius comes in. Darth Idius, love you, buddy. But you'll get it soon. You'll get it. You'll get it. You'll figure it out. I always wish the best for everybody. I really do, because I think that everybody here, everybody on YouTube has a chance for redemption. I'm not as bad as Darth. Darth, I think once he gets to a certain point, he's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Some of it is out of fun. Some of it is out of ignorance. We all have our flaws and our faults. That's why whenever I was on with him earlier, I wasn't gonna get aggravated at him. I know that other people might have been a little bit aggravated with him, but I'm just I know how to deal with those. Or helping women in my past wasn't attacking you, but oh no, Cloud is already gone. She's fine. Cloud Illusions is absolutely fine. She's got a night, you know. There's only so much time in the world that people can watch us stream, watch us silly fuckers say stupid shit and act a fool. No, there's some different folks in this internet space. I am by far not good at what I do. I'm still fine-tuning it. Still trying to get better, to be a better streamer, to give you better content, so you don't have to listen to me ramble about the same bullshit all the time, because that's what'll happen. You'll just go, yeah, he's talking about that fucking time in Hollywood again. Great. It's the last thing I want to hear. So I'm trying to fine tune it a little bit, get a little bit better. I'll probably only be drinking on Friday nights now, or for me, Thursday nights. Maybe on the weekends I'll do a shorter stream or something. I'd like to get in with some other folks. I actually was supposed to have Flux on one night. She wasn't able to do it because she had a migraine. Completely understand. I'm fine with that. I like Flux. I would love to sit down and just talk with her, have some fun, shoot the shit, and just have a good time. Some of the other folks out there, just I don't know if we would be able to have like that kind of conversation. I know that I want to do some stuff with Steve Gosney. He's actually reached out to me a couple of times, wants to do some stuff and would like me have on a panel, which I'm absolutely fine for. I'll definitely be sober for that, because good Lord, got Steve Gosney. He's going to be like looking at me, and he is such a sweet person. Just so chill. He's like, I like Steve a lot, but I'm just doing this for fun, and I don't want to ruin somebody else's stuff. And that's why a lot of times if you see me on Cool Frog, I'll not say anything. It's not because I don't want to say anything, but I don't feel like, Cool Frog deserves my ranting and raving. I'll do that. I'll save that for my channel. I can make an ass of myself over here all day long, but if somebody else is having me on theirs, I would much rather be as respectful as I possibly can. I might have been drinking whenever I was on with Shelly. Might have been drinking a little bit. Probably, but it was a long night. It was a very long night. I'm such a strange character. Hope I'm not scaring you folks off, because I can do that. Anyhow, I think I will call it a night, because it is getting to be about 10:30 here in Atlanta, Georgia. The weather is 46 degrees and it's raining right now. But it won't be raining in the morning. And of course, I have a garage to completely strip out. And he wants to drink on LMAO. He can't even remember. Yes. No. Who are you again? I don't know you. No, my goal is to not be streaming at all while I'm drinking, or drinking at all while I'm streaming. Yeah, something like that. No, I need to actually cut out the alcohol. It'll be a good thing. It'll be a really good thing for me not to be drinking at all. That'll make my wife happy. Yeah, that would make her very happy. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all around the world, I'm going to call it a night. I think you guys are awesome, and I appreciate you. But now I am going to call it a night. I'll probably just go over and and watch a little bit of Cool Frog. So join me over there for some of the conspiracy guitar. And I can't remember the other guy, but I'll figure it out whenever I get over there, the same as you. Peace, y'all. Thank you very much for coming. Come back again. Hit like and subscribe. If you want to buy me a coffee, you can buy me a coffee over at Shizzy Wiznut. Buy me a coffee at Shizzy Wiznut. It's in my link tree. It's pinned up there. Y'all are awesome. Thank you very much. Peace, y'all.
Exotica.